The silly season continues for Syracuse basketball. We'll give you our second roster update. Let's go.
Make some noise, Orange fans. It's time for the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. Give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/Cuse Nation podcast.
All right, what's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning into the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. If you like it, please share it. We are back after the NCAA tournament here with some roster news and everything silly season for Syracuse basketball. And so I guess first, Joe, we should congratulate Villanova. Is that correct? Villanova,
yeah.
2018 NCAA basketball champions.
Well,
one of us
3 years.
thought
we should have. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. One of us thought we should have.
Hey, we got to give respect to the winner, even if we don't like them.
Yeah. It's not that I don't like them. But it wasn't us. So I mean, I couldn't care less sometimes. But I will take it over Michigan, as I told you. I know a bunch of guys from Michigan, and they, they're split on Michigan State and Michigan. That's why that Michigan State win was so sweet for me. But they just ran the tables with them. I mean,
yeah.
It was close for about the first 10 minutes, but after that, forget about it. So, congrats to them.
Villanova had a great year. Yep.
Yeah, they did, and
I don't know how many people are leaving either. That's the thing with them. That's
scary.
Yeah. So they got a lot of guys that stay for a bunch of years, so they have experienced teams.
Yeah. So I mean, that's how you win championships right there, and they got a great coach. So.
Yep.
Well, we want to do something with the platform that we have, and we want to just let everybody know about it. I mentioned it in our last episode. We had some plans. So with the platform we have, I don't think any other podcast or website is doing it. We want to give the fans a voice, whether it be through the website, where we'll publish approved blogs and post them to social media and things like that. Published articles will obviously be attributed to you, whether it be you or we have a guide that we're thinking about right now. So, we want to be a spot where Syracuse fans can post blogs to the website and be guests on the podcast. Now, obviously, we can't pay for any of the content, but this is a way for fans to network through one source and actually be heard instead of only being seen in a comment thread or a tweet or something like that. So, we got a big Cuse fan we met on Facebook, so we're looking forward to having him start maybe doing some of this. He's going to be our guinea pig. His name's Brandon. So, he's pretty knowledgeable, and he's the bleed orange 24/7 type. So, that's what we kind of want to try to do and build a little network and have everybody be able to get on and contribute. And I don't think anybody else is doing it. I think it's an original idea. I think that's why it's exciting to me. So, if you're into that, you can contact us via direct message on Twitter at Cuse Militia. That changed. So, Joe, you want to add anything to that? I mean,
no, it's just between the Facebook page and the Twitter page and even like you said the website where people can write stuff. You have your own way. Everyone has their own way of things that they like, whether it's video, whether it's making memes or like you said, writing articles. So we have all different types of platforms all over social media. So just get involved if you'd like.
Yeah, get involved, and these things will be published to our social media, and then you can share them from there. You can do whatever the hell you want with them.
Yeah.
So a lot of this, like with the website in particular, it kind of it's sat there at times idle for a while because it's just tough doing everything. So anyway, I'm excited about that, and we're going to test Brandon out and see what he's got. So, all right. The first thing I want to discuss here is the one thing that's kind of still up in the air right now is Tyus Battle. We haven't gotten a clear answer for him. I know that he's still in limbo. He's still figuring out his options. So, Joe, what kind of timeline are we looking at for Battle? When will we start to see the ball roll on some of his decision-making?
Well, the timeline we're actually in right now, and is the beginning of it. Starts April 2nd through the 14th, and that's essentially just the time for players to request draft feedback from NBA executives and to see, where the NBA kind of sees them fitting in. This is beforehand, so and then by April 22nd, any underclassman who wants to declare needs to submit the letter. That doesn't mean they need to have an agent, as we all know. If you do sign an agent and put your name in the draft, then you lose your eligibility. So, but yeah, April 22nd, that's the big one for us as far as battle goes. And then after that, the timeline goes into basically the NBA announcing the list of early entrants, sending out invitations for the Combine, and then the NBA Combine. But yeah, the April 22nd is what we're looking for. So if he decides he wants to declare, then you're talking about, we're looking at April 27th is the invitations for the Combine. May 16th through the 20th is the NBA Combine. And he still can go through all this without having an agent, and just to see where he's, just help him see where he's going to go and do some workouts. Just go through the way that it goes, the system, and it can only help. But the big one after that is going to be May 30th before midnight. So 11:59 on May 30th. Players that want to stay in school must submit the request through writing, and that's really going to be the big one. So Tyus Battle is going to have to tell us whether he's going to declare by April 22nd. If he does, then we kind of just got to watch out and make sure, see that there's no news that he signs an agent as he goes through this process. And then once he goes through that process, May 30th is going to be the night. So that's what we got to look forward to. So about a month and a half, but April 22nd, obviously, April 22nd. If he doesn't declare. Right. Yeah. So that's the first big one.
Right. So, okay. Well, I think we're going to be, look, I would not bank on Tyus Battle staying in Syracuse. I wouldn't be surprised if he left. I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed. Now, here's the thing, and we're going to talk about Moyer in a second. If he decides...
Well, Brissett, right? Shea Brissett is...
Brissett, I said Moyer. Did I say Brissett?
No. I'm saying Brissett, we don't have to worry about him through this, right? He's coming back, right?
Yeah. Did I say Brissett?
No. I was just wondering because we were talking about this with Battle. Like, I just didn't know if it was 100% that Brissett was. Oh
no, Brissett is coming back.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't now, he would really
look like
renege on his word.
Yeah,
a little bit. So, well, my point with Battle is don't plan on him staying. If he stays, it's a bonus, okay? And I think it's fantastic. I would love him to stay. I've said numerous times. I've expressed my man crush for Tyus Battle. I think he's freaking awesome. I love his character and I love his style. So, but if he doesn't come back, he doesn't come back. We're going to be fine. We got some good guards coming in. You got Elijah Hughes, who's ready, been ready, and just Jalen Carey, and so it's all good. So keep your eyes out. April 22nd. That's the big first date we need to look forward to. Moyer has decided to leave. No big surprise there. I think that was the writing was on the wall with that one, in my opinion. No big shock.
Yeah, I think we both talked about that, and we kind of knew what that was. But I'll tell you what, the surprising thing to me is the teams that he's interested in.
Yeah,
I mean, they're all pretty much Xavier, Vanderbilt, Stanford, Kansas State, Iowa, Creighton, Alabama, and Iowa State. Now, I don't know if that list has shrank since that came out at first, but I did see that he has planned a visit with Xavier. Really? And I guess that's the one team that's kind of got the leg up here because Chris Mack, Xavier's old coach, or that's been a coach for a while, Chris Mack, he just took the Louisville job. And the assistant at Xavier, I think his last name's Steele, he got kind of the boost up, kind of like, the coach in waiting. So now he's the head coach, and he was the main recruiter when they were recruiting Moyer when he in the original recruiting process when he chose Syracuse. He chose Syracuse over Xavier. So they have a really good relationship with that coach, and they're saying that pretty much as long as the visit goes good and everything, that's probably the team that's up there right now.
Okay. Look for Louisville to make the climb too. I don't know what this year's coaching fiasco did to the recruiting for next year or beyond.
But he's a good coach.
Yeah, he's a good coach. So look for them to be a force in the future. Probably maybe even next year.
Near future, depending on what happens.
Year or two. So yeah, it depends on what happens exactly. Because there's more stuff might be handed down to Louisville.
Yeah.
So
Chris,
yeah, it doesn't
Chris
look
Mack
good.
might be walking into a poop storm right now.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so next, Sidibe, he had surgery on March 30th. He's already begun rehab. He's projected to be back for the start of the next season. That's my Sidibe update. Not much else going on there. Good news, though, I think. Already starting rehab. Not even 2
I'm
weeks
sure they'll
after.
have.
So.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll have articles throughout the summer.
Yeah, and
just updating everybody on how he's doing and stuff like that. So we
Right.
can only hope that it just is successful and we don't have to worry about those damn knees next year.
Exactly. Okay, the big one, the elephant in the room is obviously Darius Baisley. He decommitted from Syracuse. He opted for the G League. Now, I believe he's really exposed how utterly pointless the one-and-done rule is, but at the same time, he's also made some pretty significant sacrifices. He's going to be busing the games instead of flying. He's got no access to the Mello Center or the state-of-art equipment, trainers, physical therapists. Also, he'll lack some obvious spotlight that comes in playing in D1 level in the ACC. So I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision. Not only that, Joe, but, what could it be like for a kid at this age skipping, the NCAA and going to the G League with coaches knowing that likely they won't have him back next year? And the stiff competition out there, not only that, besides the stiff competition and the playing time in the year that he does get to play. So ultimately, I think he said basically for him, the $26,000 a year in the G League seems like what it came down to for him. I mean,
I'd like to hope that that's not the situation, but
I know, but
I think you kind of nailed it on the head for the way that you said it. You kind of said it without saying it or really knowing it, but I think the big thing here really is exposure. And when it comes to that one and done rule, you saw it with when there wasn't a one and done rule. Anybody that was close and had any type of possible crazy talent that could just come to the NBA and play, they were drafting them. There wasn't a lot, maybe 10 max a year. But it's the same thing that they do with the international teams and stuff like that. But as soon as they did it one and done, now the kid's got to be a year removed. Well, there's a couple things that you can do. First thing, how come players that don't want to go to school or don't want to go anywhere, why don't they just not? You could technically not even play, sit out a year, and then just go get drafted. But what's the biggest thing? The biggest thing for that 1 year that you have to sit out is exposure.
Right.
That's why kids go to college. There's been a couple kids. I remember Brandon Jennings. He was supposed to go to Arizona, a bunch of years back. I don't know how many years back, and instead he signed to, I think, Arizona. Yeah. Then he decided to go overseas in like Italy or China or something and play. And he played professionally for a year and then went and got drafted. Like only a few kids have done that. Most 18-year-old kids or whatever don't want to go move internationally to go play basketball against grown men in those leagues, And now there's the G League, but what kind of exposure is he going to get?
He's not going to get much. The only exposures he's got is being the first major recruit to do this.
That doesn't mean he's going to play.
No, I know.
Have you seen some of these cities that the G League play in?
They're horrible. You see I'm sure I haven't seen their living conditions and such, but I can't imagine they're, living in the lap of luxury, like they would be in a dorm for free at a college like Syracuse. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
So, I don't know. $26,000 a year. That if it's a full-time job, that averages out to be about $12.50 an hour, something like that. I think I figured out. So it's not horrible, and I don't know. I hope it works out for him. And
yeah, me too.
While this does expose the one and done rule, in my opinion, on how stupid the rule is itself, if he is successful, then more kids will take that path. There's no doubt about it.
I just don't think he's going to be successful, Sean.
Really?
The G League it's essentially the AAA for the NBA. You got guys that are basically battling for their chance to be in the NBA. They've already played college, been there, done that. They're going to be 3, 4, 5 years older than him, maybe in some instances even older, grown men with bills to pay, sometimes and even mouths to feed. These are grown men playing against a guy who's, you're not physically ready usually when you're coming out of high school like that.
And he's not. And he's not a big kid.
Not in the position that he's trying to play.
Right.
So, and then again, like I said, you have these teams that are legitimately trying to play players because some NBA teams are going to need these players to come up and play with 10-day contracts and stuff if players on their team get hurt or suspended or stuff like that. So it's not just blah, blah, I don't care who we play. Like, the G League is turning into more and more like a farm system thing. And another thing is he's not going to be signed. He's going to make the league minimum of $25,000, but whoever he plays for, that team doesn't have any rights to him. So he's still going to have to put his name in the NBA draft after next year, and then another team is going to sign him. So there's no guarantees for the team that he even ends up playing for. So at the end of the day, and realistically, who's to say that there's even a spot in the G League for him?
Well, I mean, we could argue that. I think he lands a spot in the G League. I don't even think that's a question, in my opinion.
I mean, a team might do it just to do it, but I don't know. I mean, exactly you'd assume he wouldn't make that decision unless he really knew, but
right.
I don't know. It's just like I said, I don't really see. There's not too much incentive for NBA teams to sign him and try to make him better and get him involved in their team if right after this year he's just going to go in the draft. The more exposure he gets, the better he is. The higher up he's going to get drafted. Most likely he won't get drafted to the team that he was playing for. So, again, I just don't see the incentive for NBA teams to even play him. And, so I don't know. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. And I wish all the best, but something tells me that there's going to be maybe an I told you so somewhere, or that he's going to end up regretting this. It's just my
that's
opinion.
Possible. That's why I think that's why I thought it was a tough decision, and it couldn't have been easy. But the other thing, and this isn't a jab at him at all, but Coach Boeheim found out through like Twitter or something that he decommitted. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, man. You think you could maybe I don't know. You think that you could discuss that with the coach before you throw it on Twitter like that? I don't know. It's kind of a yellow belly way out of it, man. I mean, I
think he did talk to Coach Griffin, but I don't even know if he ever even. I don't even know if he ever.
He talked to Coach Griffin after.
It was after. I thought it was before.
It was after.
Oh, and then he only texted Boeheim, and then he said that he'd been thinking about it for months, and it's like, well, you're sitting here just holding the team, you're holding the team over here.
Yeah,
that was my biggest thing with it is, I don't really. I mean, if the kid wants to go and do that, then he can go and do that. But I mean, you signed a national letter of intent. You've done nothing but solid and committed and talking about Syracuse, and then you wait till right after the McDonald All-American game to say you're going to the G League, and it's just hard for me to believe that somebody didn't get some in his ear.
Oh, he got coaxed.
Although he's only making $25,000 in the G League, there's somebody he's getting money from somewhere else. I'll guarantee you that. Whether it's an agent.
That's a good point, Joe, and we can't prove that, but we can speculate that for sure, right?
So I'll tell you what, a basic $25,000 from the G League and no guaranteed spot or playing time is not worth giving up a chance to go to Syracuse and possibly play for a national championship. And that's the kind of talent that I thought we might have had if he would have came. And at the end of the day, though, he ended up being a kid that when we found out, he really didn't want to be there. And, that's really what we've talked about is we want kids that want to be there. So this just tells me that if he did come there next year, he would have been all about himself. And like I said, again, I wish the best for him. But if you don't want to be there, then not to be kind of a dick, but I don't want you there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes to say a little bit about his character. I do wish him the best, and we're not going to know what we're missing, but he would have been great. But Syracuse will get by, like Coach says. He's going to coach the players that are there. All right, moving on. Brissett, on the other hand, he has said, well, last week he said he hadn't fully made a decision. He'd been leaning towards coming back. He said, I'm leaning towards I haven't fully made a decision, but right now I'm leaning more towards coming to school. I feel like another year of development will really help me out there. He wanted to boost his NBA stock a little bit, he was talking about. On Sunday, yesterday, he came out and he tweeted, ready for year 2, hashtag unfinished business. So
Act 2.
So there we go. Brissett comes
Act 2,
back.
so I'm hoping.
Oh, he's coming back.
Dude, come on, man.
He's coming
With
back.
all the things that have happened, to us in the past,
You are
especially in the
crazy.
recent past. What? Tyrone Sampson? Oh, I'm committed. I'm going to sign early. Decommits.
Carmelo Anthony did the same thing, didn't he?
No.
He didn't? He said he was
just
coming
said-
back. I
He
remember
said what he
was
needed
coming
to
back.
say. He
Well,
didn't
yeah,
come. He
that's
didn't
true.
put it on Twitter. He said
Well,
what he
there was
needed
no
to say. at a
Twitter back
speech.
then.
Oh, come on.
There
He
was no Twitter.
He was in front of a crowd in a speech, and they're just one more year.
Oh,
Come on. Like, what's he going to say?
I know,
Of course
I know.
he's going to say,
I know,
this guy.
but Brissett's
I know.
not.
I
Brissett's
trust
in.
it, though. I trust him.
I trust Brissett. He's coming back. That's going to be awesome. I mean, he's going to
God.
be more consistent this year, and that was the only thing I think that he was really missing this year was his consistency. And watch, man, when these players come back, their sophomore year, players like this caliber, they're always awesome.
Yeah, and you see their confidence levels go up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anything to say about Brissett? You said your piece. You said enough.
No, I mean he's awesome, and I'm just glad that he's, especially after this Baisley news, I'm glad that he's going to come back, so to speak. I'm still waiting till April 22nd.
You just wanted until Joe sees him out on the court in a Syracuse jersey. He doesn't believe
No,
it.
until we get past April 22nd,
Okay,
he doesn't have his name in the damn draft.
All right, I hear you. Jalen Carey, I guess he hurt his finger lifting some weights or something.
Freak weightlifting accident.
Freak accident. Nothing's broken. Nothing's torn. He's going to be fine. But he said he's really excited. I feel like when I get up there, my game's going to change so much. Just staying in the gym 24 hours, that's going to be real big. I think I leave in July. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting better, he said, as he talks about coming into Syracuse to start, I guess, doing his summer thing there. So,
yeah. Did you hear what else he said?
No. About pushing and all that stuff? About his style of play? What? No, what?
About he
His
number?
had his number? He wants to either be 5 or 0, but it'll probably be 0 because that's how many people he thinks can guard him.
Yeah, no, that was good too. Yeah, there's some good tidbits. I kind of like the guy. He's
a character.
No, but he had some about on Baisley, on Darius Baisley.
And
he said,
I did. Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, he said, I was really surprised. I was sleeping when my dad called me. Thought he was playing with me at first. Saw it on Twitter and everything. I was surprised, but I wish the best for him. I don't wish no shame on him or anything. I hope his plan works, but he's going to miss something big next year.
That's right. Yep.
So, hey, that's all I can say. And like I said, I mean, he probably knew that anyway, and he is going to be a great player, Baisley. Or he is a good player. Yeah, he would have been a great player for Syracuse, and he is going to miss something big. So, good thing is we're in a better position to where we really don't need him. And if he doesn't want to be here, I don't want him here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that he doesn't want to be here. I do think that, like what you said, we can't. It's conspiratorial, and I'm not trying to start any rumors, but he's getting somehow, one way or another, he's ending up with more than $26,000 a year. That's just not enticing to. I don't think. In my opinion.
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, a lot of kids could do that. Shoot, a lot of kids do that in college.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and they should be able to, by the way.
But the way I look at it is it's been proven that during this you got to stay at least 1 year, it's been proven that the best thing to do is to go where you have the best platform. And the best platform, it's proven. I mean, there's you get supposed one and done guys that come in and look at the guy from Missouri. I mean, the guy from Missouri is probably going to be a top 10 pick. He played 2 minutes, hurt his back, and then didn't come back till the SEC championship and played 2 tournament games. guy's going to be a top 10 pick. There's been players before that you don't hear anything about them in the regular season. Their team gets into the tournament and they make a little Sweet 16, Elite 8 run. Guy plays great. All of a sudden, he's a draft pick. So the bottom line is you got to go to the platform. So if he's going to take this chance to get a little money now to chance a lot more money later, then that's on him. So
yeah,
that's just the way that I look at it.
Right. Jalen Carey he is in a splint. Takes 6 to 8 weeks to heal. No big deal. All right, now it's time to speculate. Now this is the fun part. So there was a kid by the name of Bryce Golden. He's a 220-pound, 6'8" forward, power forward, and he was released from Pitt. He asked to be released from Pitt in mid-March. And so actually our buddy Brandon was tooling around trying to figure out just researching things and Googling and whatnot, and he eventually came across a 247 Sports like profile of this kid Bryce Golden, and it showed that he was leaning towards Syracuse. Now we don't really know. I guess there's a bunch of schools involved with this, but he was leaning towards Syracuse, but that's speculatory on 247 Sports, right? Is that how I read that? So I posted it.
It's speculatory, but still, as a Syracuse fan, if I was him in that situation and I stumbled upon that, I'd be like, what is this? And who is this guy? You know what I mean?
Exactly,
like, I never heard of him.
Yeah, I know. So we put it out there, and we'll know more soon, I think. There's a recruiting guy, Mike McAllister, who ended up following him on Twitter yesterday, and he's the big recruiting guy for 247 Sports for Syracuse, and so he ended up following him yesterday on Twitter, and that should tell you a little something. So I don't know.
Yeah, kind of gives you a little bit of a right.
Yeah. So and I tweeted at him asking him about Bryce Golden, and I didn't get a response. So. Anyway.
Well, that's because you had to give him time to look him up.
Yeah, right.
So, once he went and figured out what you were talking about, then you went and followed him on Twitter.
Yeah, you could thank Brandon, okay, for the tip.
Thanks, Brandon, Mike McAllister.
Yeah, exactly. So
he probably knew, right? There's no way that.
There's no way he couldn't have known. I don't understand.
There's no way we couldn't prove it. But yeah, I mean, the information was right there on the site that he's involved with. So,
yeah, and
I'd like to hope that he knew.
Right, but so I get this DM from Brandon talking about this, and I'm like, who is this guy? I've never heard of this kid. So I look at him like, maybe I'll write up a quick blog post about it. So I start to research him and figure out like what people are saying. No one's saying anything about this kid. The only thing we knew is that he asked to be released.
That he got released.
Yeah,
exactly. And like I said, then I went ahead and I found him on Twitter, followed him, and then this morning when I saw that Mike McAllister was following him, I went on there and there was actually a little report there from his high school coach saying that the possible places that he's trying to land is Butler, Georgetown, Syracuse, Illinois, UConn, and Wichita State. And that he's most likely going to trim that down to probably 2, 3, or 4, manageable amount of numbers so you can go take visits by the end of the week. So we'll probably hear more by the end of the week.
Well, good. Those are a lot of good teams in the running there. But my thing about this kid, and I haven't seen a highlight reel, and if I find one, I haven't even looked, but if I can find one on YouTube, I'll post it to the Facebook page. But here's what I love: 6'8", 220 pounds, Joe. We don't have that. We don't have that. We have some lanky dudes down there. We got some height, but as far as the muscle, like that, he would be a huge asset.
He's a physical guy with, from what I've read, from the things that I have been able to find about him, he's a physical guy with a good motor. I don't think it's one of those guys that cares about scoring. So he's going to do all the dirty stuff. He's going to set the picks. He's going to rebound. He's going to hustle. He's Mark Dolce
with some
plus
muscle.
40, 50 pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Minus maybe the jump shot. I don't know how his jumper is in his game like that. And Marek, he's got that little bit of the outside game that can help him not be as physical. But this guy he makes his money in paint.
That's awesome. And we haven't had that. So
that'd be a great guy to be able to bring in, and possibly if we needed to, depending on how the cards fall. We have no idea what's going to happen because we've seen it late additions and graduate transfers and stuff like that in the past. So you never really know. But either way, he seems like he'd be a great addition, whether it be helping this year or redshirting in next year. So,
and while we are talking about players from Pitt or decommits from Pitt, there is Ryan Luther, a 6'9", 225-pound forward. He was injured most of last year with a foot injury, but rumors are floating that he might be a grad transfer, possible to land with Syracuse, or I think Arizona was in the mix. But this is a guy with some experience. I think he went into Pitt last year or the beginning of this year as their leading scorer, and a hell of a player. So we didn't get to see him much this year, but
no, he's definitely a good player. I have seen one write-up. There's an article that I saw where he was, from Syracuse, from a Syracuse website that talked about Ryan Luther and a couple other guys that I'm going to get into in a second. But, possible graduate transfers that could come in and help Syracuse next year. And he was one of them. But when I looked into what was on the websites and stuff like that, the only thing that I've seen, and obviously it's still all speculation, but I've seen more stuff talking about him possibly transferring to Arizona than anywhere else. So, but again, who knows if he has any restrictions with his graduate transfer? And honestly, I mean, who knows? He's setting up a visit to go there. So,
well, just for the record, we have room for both of them.
Yes, we do. We're in a weird situation where I think we still had one open scholarship before Baisley here, and with him leaving, obviously it opens up a scholarship. Moyer leaving, obviously opened up a scholarship. And we can always throw Buddy Boeheim in there as a walk-on. So, I mean, possibilities are endless, but Jim Boeheim isn't going to jump for somebody that's either A, not going to be worth it in the long run, that he's someone he can develop over a red shirt in 4 or 5 years, or somebody that can come in and immediately help. He's not just going to fill the roster just to do it. So, but yeah, well, some of those other guys too. Before we get off this topic, the other guys that were in that article that I read about Ryan Luther was Michael Fink, and these are graduate seniors. He'd be transferring from Illinois. He's a 6'10", 235-pound forward, and the other guy from Buffalo, Kenneth Smart, 6'10", 240. So. And these guys they're a little bit different to me because of their size. I don't really, maybe Michael Fink, I can see maybe playing a little bit of the wing, but these guys seem to me like more of like guys that could possibly just add more depth in the middle, depending on what's going on with Chukwu and Sidibe. Maybe play a little bit of the forward if they need be. I think Ryan Luther's probably the best fit. But again, he's probably going to be one of the more highly coveted. So. I guess we'll have to wait and see. We'll wait and see as the news comes out. But it was definitely a good job by Brandon by finding that little gem.
Yeah, no kidding. So like,
yeah, I thought it was awesome. Because I saw it, I'm like, what? No, like never,
absolutely.
And then he brought it up, and we were following that Bryce guy before Mike McAllister was. You actually wrote up something before I've seen any other write up. So again. Today was the first time that I've seen anything about him being interested in Syracuse, and that was through that tweet that came through his high school coach last night. So, again, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I think if we can't get Luther, having a young guy, maybe possible 2-year, 3-year, maybe. I mean, who knows? We'll have to see. But I will look for a highlight reel on Bryce Golden, and I'll see if I can get my hands on that. There's got to be something out there. They always do that. So
I'm sure there's a video on YouTube of him setting some crazy picks and a couple good blocks.
Yeah, maybe
a good inbound pass.
Yeah,
a couple free throws.
Yeah. So If he could hit free throws, that'd be excellent. I'll look for that. I'll get that up there. So there is a quick little write-up, but we've already told you everything that I wrote up anyway, and then some. So, all right, Joe. I suspect we may have to do another roster update, part 3, which is fine.
After part 2.
After part 2, we don't have a ton going on. We got the spring game coming up. That is not this weekend, but the following weekend, right? It's the 20th.
No, it's this week. It's this Friday.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll come back for that too, probably in between the roster episodes.
No, we'll have to talk to Brandon and see if he's actually going to it or not. Because I know that I'm not going to be. We're not going to be able to, obviously. But
no, that's the other
maybe
thing.
we can get some insight from him as to how it went. Because
yeah, well, I'll have to get with him. He said he was going to go, but he just had. They just had a baby, so congrats to Brandon. Actually,
congratulations!
Congratulations!
Well, you never
to him
know.
And his
Then
family,
when you got that baby, you never know if you're gonna have the time to do it. So,
exactly. So
we'll see.
So
but they've been on Watch ESPN the past couple of years. And I think, like I said, it's on a Friday night. So I think there's probably a good chance that it might be.
Yeah,
but again, like you said,
we'll have the box score. I mean,
yeah. I mean, with that coming through, talk, with spring football, and then obviously we have the April 22nd date. To see whether or not Battle or Brissett are going to put their name in, because I still don't know if Brissett's really.
Yeah, you're crazy, man. Brissett,
I'm not going to believe it till I see it.
He is a man of his word. I could tell that guy has integrity. He's like Battle. He has integrity. If Battle says he's coming back, he's coming back. That's why he hasn't said anything yet, because he's probably leaving.
Dude, you talk like you know these guys. They're barber.
Hey, I know the barber. I do know the barber, so I know a couple of the guys' barber. So anyway, all right. Well, we'll come back and do something, and that's it, I guess. So that's it. That's all I got. Go to facebook.com/Cuse Nation Podcast. Thumb us up there, or head over to Twitter. Give us a follow at Cuse Militia. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Watch Horses Cross. The Cuse Nation Podcast with Sean and Joe.